Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Oh, high, blow low, a whaling we will go. We'll go a whaling, a sailing away we'll go. Blow me high and low from many and many a long, long day. For many and many a long, long day. That was the Rodgers and Hammerstein classic, Blow High, Blow Low, from the play Oklahoma.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Episode 114 of the Friends and Rivals Tomcast, coming at you live and hot. I am one of your hosts, Tom Harkins. Joining me each week are
Stephen Wojtwitz,
Bill Fougere.
Hey, Clarita.
It's so boring when you guys say your real names. It really is.
Hey, 45.
You can't mix it
Oh,
up.
my.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You know what's not boring when you get right up on the microphone and talk right into it.
Was I doing that? I tend to do that when I'm on location, as I am today. First and foremost, the NHL did the draft lottery tonight.
Great draft.
Wouldn't you know it, a big market team won number one overall. The Chicago Blackhawks are the team that gets to draft Connor Bedard.
So they lose Kane, they mutually part ways with Taves, and they miraculously fall into another superstar.
Miraculously.
Silly how that works.
Silly. You know, it's funny that didn't they say that they're not going to re-sign Jonathan Taves, or he's not coming back to the Blackhawks?
Oh yeah.
Yes. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I actually had dinner with a Columbus Blue Jacket fan who actually thought they were going to win. And I laughed at him. Yes, there is
You
one.
found a Columbus Blue Jacket in New Jersey?
In New Jersey,
Yeah.
of all places. Well,
Why was he traveling in from? Obviously, he's got to be from Columbus. There can't be from anywhere else.
Yes, he was from Columbus. But
Was it him and Bucci, the only two Columbus fans out there that were really rooting for him to get Bedard?
yeah, Bucci was rooting hard
Really going for
hard for Bedard.
it. He was rock hard for Bedard.
We all are, Nick. We all are.
So how about this for an interesting take, right? Arizona holds some sort of silly pre-draft workout with some players years ago. They lose a first-round pick. The Devils signed Kovalchuk to a legal contract. They lost a pick. Chicago is embroiled in a sex scandal that was covered up by everybody from management to the head coach. No repercussions at all.
Nope.
That's about right.
Nope.
And somehow they trick into the first overall pick.
Go Blackhawks.
Unreal.
I was just happy
know.
he did not go to Philadelphia because I actually want to like this kid. If he's going to be the superstar they say he is, I want to like him. Like we're in awe of Connor McDavid. But if he went to the Flyers, Jesus, that just would not have
We
happened.
would just have to say
Fuck the
fuck him.
Flyers.
Fuck the Flyers.
We would have to say fuck him.
We would have had to say fuck him. But luckily,
There's
we
been
did
no
not.
possible way we could have been happy.
We only
with
got to
that.
say
would've
we
been-
only got to say fuck him for 2 games at 82.
Yeah.
Right. It would be a total of 6 times we would say.
It would have been, yeah.
Well, no, it's still going to be 6 times because each one of our teams played Chicago.
Oh, I don't give it. No, when he plays your team, I'm going to cheer for Chicago. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, in total. Never mind. All right. Here we go. Let's go to the agenda. Tight 45 tonight.
Let's do it.
Round 2, New Jersey Devils, Carolina Hurricanes. Devils came back. Hey, you know what? At least the fucking Rangers didn't give up 8 goals to the Devils. Jesus Christ.
Have you ever seen a playoffs where out of 9 games, only one of them was somewhat competitive? The other 8 have all been blowouts in one way or another. It makes no sense whatsoever.
It is mind-boggling.
So the first game, you can kind of see it. First period, they look like they were shot out of a canyon. The Devils look like they were playing in quicksand. And they just steamrolled the whole way through. Graves was getting skated by left and right. Stahl was in Hughes's face all game long. and it just looked like it was going to be a 4-game series. Game 2 happens. The Devils have 2 early power plays and don't convert, which really starts to get you to wonder if they're going to be, they're going to have a shot at coming back. Through that game, Hischier, Bratt, Meyer, and Hughes had combined for 4 total goals, and 3 of them were by Hughes. So, like Tom said, your star players have got to show up in the playoffs, and these guys haven't been showing up. And that brings us to game 3, the first one in New Jersey, and it was just a complete 180. They looked like the dominant team, and Carolina looked like they couldn't do anything right. They went 11 forward, 7D, which makes sense because Boqvist and Sharangovich haven't done anything all playoffs. So why not just sit them and get Hughes into the lineup? Luke rewarded the coach's decision with 2 assists. Jack had 2 goals and assists. Meyer got his first of the playoff. The only real alarming thing was the 3 shorthanded goals against. Now, it's happened before in the playoffs, 3 shorthanded goals against, and that team wound up winning as well, like the Devils did. So brings us to tomorrow night. Some things still up in the air. Who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Vanacek? Is it going to be Schmid? Is he going to stack the top 2 lines like he has been, like he did in game 3? I hope he does, obviously. And Carolina really started to show some chippiness late in the game during game 3. So let's see if that carries over. If that was just frustration from getting their doors blown off.
What do you want to see in that?
I want to see Vanacek at this point. I think, Schmid had his run. We took it for what it was worth. Maybe that magic dust is wearing off a little bit. Vanacek was there all season, got the job done all season. So let's give it back to him and ride him and see what he's got.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I agree, but you're definitely going to find out what you have in Vanacek now for sure.
And now they've also called up a whole bunch of kids from Utica who I guess can participate. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, they can.
They can practice, right? Obviously they could practice, but I didn't know if they could get into games as well.
They can get into games, sure. Absolutely.
I wasn't sure if it was like the Major League Baseball roster where you only had a specific number of people.
Did they do that because they're
out of they got knocked out of the playoffs.
They lose to Hershey? Or
No,
did they lose earlier than that?
earlier than that.
Okay. Surprisingly, the Hartford Wolfpack are doing very well in that tournament and are actually percentage point favorites for the Calder.
Percentage point favorites.
Yeah, that stupid bullseye thing that they do.
It's dumb.
Really dumb.
Yeah.
Officiating hasn't been very good in this playoffs.
At
all.
Never has.
Horrendous everywhere. Every team, every series has had it. It's just bad.
Like you said, it's hard to complain about it when it's so consistently inconsistent.
That's the only thing that is certainly consistent.
You literally lift the guy's stick. You that's a great defensive play from behind.
That was great.
You reach up to you catch up to him, you lift his stick, and you get called for a hook that results in a penalty shot.
It wasn't a penalty when Trouba did it on Hughes. I didn't think it should have been a penalty last night. Very, very simple. Very simple. My gut's telling me Carolina might give you a little bit of a pushback tomorrow night.
Oh, it's coming, baby.
Yeah.
It's coming for sure.
But then again, anything that Lindy Ruff has done to adjust on the fly in these series has seemed to work. Anything he touches.
The power play again is the big thing. They're like 1 for 19 or something like that. Some ridiculous number. And they've given up 3 shorthanded goals.
Oof.
That's like Islanders numbers, man. The hell?
Yeah, just I know they juggled it a little bit. Now they've got Hughes and Hamilton. Hughes had a terrible turnover on the power play. Luckily they were ahead so much that it didn't really matter, but he'll learn. He won't do those kinds of backhand cross ice passes at the blue line anymore, and we'll see what he can bring.
Well, we will certainly all be watching. So we're going to shift now and talk about. Well, we all will be. We'll talk about we didn't get to do the Rangers breakup day from last week. The Rangers lost to the Devils in that series. It was far too fresh. We did have breakup day for the Rangers. And as I predicted last week, Gerard Gallant was released, or I'm sorry, they mutually agreed to part ways.
Love that.
Gerard Gallant
that's right up there
of
with
the New York
the
Rangers.
trade for future considerations.
After I talked to Chris, it was in my best interest to resign. No shit, Sherlock. So Quenneville is not part of the Rangers search as of right now, but there are names out there. Particular Vince Mercogliano. I'm going to talk about his list that he put on there. He put a list of about 10 potential coaches out there. I didn't like one of them, so I replaced it with somebody else. But he had Mike Babcock, Bruce Boudreau. I don't know. Babcock is certainly, I think he's, I don't want to say washed up as a coach, but he definitely needs a new shtick, because didn't he get a chance? Didn't he get a chance with somebody and they just fucking blew it?
Was it Toronto, right?
Toronto, right? Yeah.
I mean, Detroit to Toronto. I mean, yeah, those kind of guys, that's just like one of the recycled guys that, I wouldn't expect anything from a Babcock.
No, I wouldn't either. And there's guys like Spencer Carberry and Jim Hiller. These are assistant coaches that I really have never heard of, but they're one is an assistant coach with Toronto. And I don't recall who the other is an assistant with, but they're power play specialists. You got Chris Knobloch, or Chuck Knobloch, rather. No, it is Chris, who is the head coach of the Hartford Wolfpack. But then you got someone like Peter Laviolette, who got released this year by the Washington Capitals. I'm not a big fan of Peter Laviolette when he was a coach of another team, and I don't want him to coach my team. Others on the list were Jay Leach and Patrick Waugh. I just don't think Patrick Waugh fits in New York.
No,
I don't understand if he couldn't do it in Colorado. What makes you think he can do it in New York? I just don't think he's the right guy. And there's
if he makes it in New York,
he can make it anywhere.
He can
right?
make it anywhere.
You're certainly right. And then there's the dream scenario where Mike Sullivan gets released by the Penguins in the next week and then gets rehired. He gets hired by the Rangers immediately. I mean, what do you think the line would be to throw money at Mike Sullivan would be if he was made available? It would be a long list. The last one that is on the list is Mark Messier, and I think a player with no coaching experience at any level doesn't deserve to get a shot and be the coach of a New York Rangers team who are quote unquote built to win now. Just don't see it. Mark Messier is on a pedestal in the fandom of Rangers history. Let him stay there and let him be revered for the rest of his life like that. Don't tarnish him. Mark Messier is not going to coach the Rangers next year. I'm sorry. I don't care what Stan Fischler says on Twitter. Mark Messier is not going to coach the Rangers next year. Sorry, just not going to happen.
It worked out for Carolina.
Well, listen, I agree with you, but I don't know. I see Messier just doesn't look comfortable in studio talking on TV.
No.
So I just, maybe behind the bench he's something completely different, but I just don't see it. You're right. It did work with Carolina and Rod the Bod, but I don't know. I just don't see it with Messier.
Do you think he would want more of a management role anyway?
Don't know. I don't know what he wants. I do think he was a little jaded that he didn't even get interviewed the last time before they hired Gallant. I think he felt a little jaded. So maybe they give him an interview as a courtesy. But I just don't see it. And if things go bad, I wouldn't want them to fire him. He's in that odd position to where he's so revered by fans in the franchise that we don't want to see anything tarnish him.
Luckily, they don't have to fire him because They would just mutually part ways.
Mutually part ways. That would,
Well, and every coach, that's the future of every coach. I mean, every coach gets fired. They hardly ever go, well, it's time for me to step away. No.
and
get
the
fired
last
something.
one who's on my list, who I actually want to coach the Rangers,
Stan Bowman.
Andrew Burnett, who is now the assistant coach with the New Jersey Devils. And if things keep going right for Lindy
No,
Ruff,
he is the associate
I'm
head
sorry,
coach.
associate head coach. But if things keep going right for Lindy Ruff, the Devils are not going to get rid of him.
They absolutely will.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
You know what?
Lindy Ruff, you win. You go ahead. Go to the Stanley Cup final.
Fortunately for Lindy, he won't be fired because they will
retire?
mutually part ways.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Lindy will say, you know what? It's a young man's game. I'm getting a little too long in the tooth. Time for somebody younger to step behind the bench. And he's going to hand the reins over to Burnett.
No, listen, he's pushing all the right buttons with this team.
No,
He's got
you shut
them
up.
right
You
where they-
stop trying to talk it into existence. It's not going to happen. Stop.
Damn it. Okay, there was a couple other things from breakup day that I want to talk about, and it's whole thing with Artemi Panarin. I did say last week that it was either Panarin stays and the coach goes, or they're going to try and trade Panarin. So it looks like Drury played his card and he's going to keep Panarin. And I personally would like to see Panarin with another coach. And listen, he's got $11.5 million contract. We know no contract is untradeable, but that'd be a hard contract to trade, even with a no movement clause. Would be very difficult.
Hopefully Panarin's healthy next year for the playoffs and can play this time instead of sitting out the series.
No,
Yeah,
he was healthy this year, Bill.
What?
I know. I know. Shocked.
What?
I'm shocked. Yes, I am as shocked as you were. Yes. Yes.
Oh shit! Sorry,
Thank you for
I
that.
got some bad information.
And
He
there
was so
is-
busy watching the Knicks games. He had no idea.
how are they doing right now?
I don't.
Not good.
Oh boy. Next is Alexis Lafreniere and what to do with him. There's been speculation about Lafreniere and Kakko being a cap casualty this off season. I think Kakko has made tremendous strides, and he's someone that you want to keep and move forward and go forward with. Lafreniere is altogether a completely different story. I hope that they have a plan for him this offseason to work on his skating, get faster, and get more energized, be more part of the game, because he was invisible in the playoffs and toward the end of the season. I mean, he didn't look
He played
like,
in the playoffs. What?
Again, yes, he did. And
I
there's
didn't
a lot of speculation about his time as a Ranger coming to an end this offseason and a trade to Montreal. It might be the best thing for him if he is moved. But at this point, I say keep him and see what you can do with him. Try to get him into a skating program in the offseason to build up his speed and see what comes out of it.
Does Montreal have a player that maybe they've soured on and would make one of those, maybe a change of scenery for you, would do you some good, and we're going to send you to New York?
Jonathan Drouin.
Cole Caulfield.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good luck.
Good
with
call,
that.
bud.
No, you don't think
Drouin
that's
feels
going to
like
work?
the kind of guy who would
Good
move
call.
again.
Oh, come
Actually,
on.
I heard Connor Bedard didn't really want to play in Chicago, so maybe you guys could swipe that too.
That sounds like a great idea.
Maybe
Sounds
Chicago
like a
can
great
trade him
idea.
to Philadelphia and the Rangers.
Okay,
do
now
it
you're
literally.
just being silly.
Yeah.
Now you are. There's two contracts in which the Rangers can actually trade this year in the offseason if they wanted to gain a little bit more cap maneuverability, and that's either Goudreau or Ryan Lindgren. I don't think Lindgren is going to get traded. I don't think he's going to get a large extension either, but I still think Lindgren is the guy that stays, and Goudreau is somebody that you can replace in your lineup. Maybe not in the locker room, because he was a great locker room guy, but I don't know. Yeah, Goudreau's, to me, this offseason seems like the guy who should and could be traded, because he's more, I guess, easily replaced in the lineup than a Lindgren would be. And then you got a couple of lottery tickets coming into your team next year with Brennan Hoffman and Will Cooley. who should be mainstays in the lineup next year. And there's been a lot of talk about Tyler Mott being re-signed, but in an ideal world, I don't think this Ranger team is going to look much different than what it looked like this year, just because of the lack of cap maneuverability next year. So you're gonna see a very, very similar team next year than what you saw this year, but sprinkled in with a little bit more of the rookies in the lineup next year. And the backup goalie is probably going to be another entry-level contract guy in Dylan Garand. The one thing the Rangers are not going to have next year is they're not going to have maneuverability probably at the trade deadline. So the team that you're going to field on day one is a team that you're probably going to go to the playoffs with, unless you can accrue cap space the way you did last year and get a couple of guys who can fill those bottom six roles, because you're not going to get a top six guy in next year's deadline. You're not going to be able to get a Tarasenko or Patrick Kane for that matter.
Looking back, would you have preferred more role player acquisitions at the deadline?
I thought the Tarasenko move was the right move. I didn't think the Kane move was the right move, but it's Patrick Kane. You got to make that deal. I would have expected another bottom six guy to kind of fill that instead of Patrick Kane, since they went big ticket with Tarasenko. Never envisioned both of those guys being on the Rangers.
Okay.
Never. It was great. And I don't think we'll ever see on paper talent like the Rangers had again, but you never know. They went further with lower tiered guys. Maybe they'll do it again next year. I hope they can. So it'll be very interesting to see the offseason moves by the Rangers. And speaking of offseason moves, Billy, is there any movement on president GM search for the Penguins?
Negative. Well, after the
Great
Penguins
segment, Nick.
and,
All right, Bill, it's great catching up with you, man.
What?
Thanks for staying on the podcast.
Well, they haven't hired anybody. That's what I was saying.
Okay, go ahead. We're only kidding.
Well, after the Penguins and Ron Hextall mutually agreed to part ways, there has been talk about who could be the next GM in Pittsburgh, and it seems like the reason why there hasn't really been movement yet is likely because at least a couple of their candidates are still in the playoffs with their respective teams. So guys like Jason Botterill, who is with the Kraken, an assistant with the Kraken right now, or an associate, or whatever the heck he's called. He used to be an associate GM under Jim Rutherford, and with the Penguins, and then he had his shot with the Buffalo Sabres and didn't work out so well with the Sabres. After a few years there, they let him go. But he is the guy that made the deal for Tage Thompson for Ryan O'Reilly. So at any rate, didn't make it in Buffalo, but he's an executive again and with the Kraken, and I think the Penguins have their eye on him. Then another one who's still in the playoffs, Kyle Dubas, with the Maple Leafs, one of the assistants there with the Maple Leafs, and is still who are still in the playoffs for maybe at least one more day. So when some of these teams are out, I think we're going to hear a little bit about the Penguins and who they're bringing in and who they're talking to. There's more people that they've got on the list, obviously, but I don't think we're going to hear anything until those guys are out and they've had a chance to talk to them. That's
more, they got to get permission to talk to them first, or do we know?
No, I don't know if they've reached out for permission while the playoffs are still going.
No, but I'm saying if their contracts are up, then they don't need permission necessarily, right?
No, I don't think their contracts are up.
Okay.
So yeah, they will need permission.
Sometimes then they even wait until after the final is over,
right,
before they start doing that.
I'm sure the Fenway Sports Group is really been vigilant and not just sitting there watching the Red Sox all day and going, hey, we'll get.
I heard Patrick Waugh and Mark Messier were also on that list.
Maybe Roger Clemens.
Really?
Big Poppy.
I was thinking Big Poppy.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
not only have the Rangers moved on from their coach, but are the Islanders mulling a coaching move as well, Nick? I've read a
Well,
couple of things on the Twitterverse that are leaning that way.
hard to say, but what is sure, or the only thing we know of right now, is that neither Lou or Lane Lambert have spoken to the media since breakup day a week ago. So we're going on now. I think it's the 8th day or 7th or 8th day since then. So normally you figure they'd have a some sort of a message or something, but nothing. They haven't been accessible to the media. So hard to say why. It could be that maybe this being Lambert's first go around, they just try to shelter him, or maybe it's because management's kind of pissed at them and wants to clean house and wants to see who's going to be available.
Did they say anything during breakup day that might have pissed senior management off, or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
There hasn't been any real messages from them really after the game. So just after, post game, I don't even remember if Lambert had anything to say at the end of the game, to be honest. The players were really the focus of all the interviews. So really quiet, which, this could be a Lou thing too, just him being like, oh, well, we just don't even talk to them or something,
So
some
annoying.
bullshit. Who knows? But I find it very strange that you would have your players going through this whole thing and have to talk through all these things with media, and then your coach and GM, president all don't, right? That seems a bit strange. So we'll see. I don't know. I get the feeling that, in my opinion, I don't think Lou, he's 80 this year. This is kind of like, maybe it's time that they just clean house. Lambert, I don't think is a good coach. I just don't see it. It's not that, that the talent was so good. Like, if you look at like the Rangers, obviously they're loaded, ready to go, and I had them pegged at the beginning of the season to win the whole thing. Before they made the moves, right? Before they made all those moves to get Kane and Tarasenko and really loaded up. Not that different from Toronto, who also loaded up tremendously and are about to get either swept or have to make some miracle to somehow get back into that series. Which they're down 3-0 at this point. So the point is, it's they weren't the most talented team. There's some obviously first year coach, but he's groomed by Trotz. The whole thing was they were getting rid of Trotz because supposedly Trotz wanted a path up to be a GM or whatever, and Lou didn't want that, and they didn't want Lambert to be picked off either. They want him to be the coach. So who knows, man? I get the feeling that they're just kind of frustrated with the direction of the team. Lou has gotten rid of every first round pick the last 4 years, so it's kind of like, even if they're for moves to make other things happen, you're just not.
Cupboard is bare.
You're not. Yeah, you're just not able to recoup it. And then we traded away to Ratu in the Horvat deal, who was easily the best forward prospect we had at the time. It's going to be tough. I don't know. You got to hope that some of these other guys are going to pan out to be able to replace those guys as they come off their contracts. And because, as you guys know, you got to have guys that,
Yep.
aren't making a ton of money. You can't win with, like, look at Toronto. They got all these forwards making $8-9 million, and they lack in other areas. Edmonton too. Edmonton's a very top heavy team, and they just don't, in terms of their forwards. And as great as McDavid and Draisaitl are, that they don't have the goalie, they don't have the defense, and I just don't see how they can win a playoff series that get that deep, unless they score 9 goals a game. So I think the Isles are in a similar situation where they're just not exactly the same situation, but they're at a point where you have to make a decision. Do you start to change it over to a different GM and coach and try to start to, remake the roster over the next few years, maybe making a trade like trading Anders Lee, because he's making $7 million a year and he's not a great skater, and he's not gonna get that deal's not gonna get better for the next 3 years. I know he's the captain and everything, but that's a big way to make, if you can make him move in some way, then potentially you could, get better there. But tall order.
Do you think the real way to make the big splash to really, hit a grand slam and build the system back up would be to trade Barzell?
I think you could. I don't mind it because I think Barzy's never going to be that guy on our team. Maybe he could, get a lot of points somewhere else, but more like have like 90, maybe 100-point season somewhere else in the right offense.
Yeah,
with the right guys around him. But
and you guys maybe could recoup some first round picks. You could get maybe some talent.
Listen, I got an offer for you on the table right now. Barclay Goudreau and Alexei Lafreniere for Matthew Barzell.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right now. Let's do it. Say yes.
Tom, you literally would be GM of the year every year. You know that?
I really would. But Andres Lee and Brock Nelson, are they kind of redundant players?
No, different players completely. Because Nelson's very shifty with the puck. He's a center. He's good on faceoffs, defensively reliable. He can shoot the puck. Lee's an old style player, man. He's not a shooter. He gets in front of you and he's got to be, making those plays in front of the net happen. Deflections and
he sounds like the kind of player the Devils need desperately. In all honesty, he sounds like the player the Devils need.
The Isles could give up some. I'm sure you could find someone would take him because he's not a bad player. The team is not fast. You need speed. You need to surround him with guys that can. Like if he played like a Jack Hughes and somebody else, speedy.
Where you just told him, just go to the net and we'll get you the puck.
Oh, he'd be fine. And
like fucking Van Riemsdyk, right?
Sure.
Like James Van Riemsdyk. Just go there and
he's great at tipping pucks. He's great at causing havoc, and he's defensively reliable. But it's like that problem we had with Tavares for years. Him and Okposo didn't really play well together because they kind of were redundant on the line together. Because they just kind of like can get the puck and grind it out, but like they needed somebody that had speed or size to really spread the ice because they couldn't do it themselves. Tavares got better as a skater over time, but never was a great skater. That was his biggest knock. And same thing with Lee here. He's big, powerful, but he's not a fast skater, and it's kind of problematic.
So I don't want to jump on your toes and make it all about me, but I'm finding that Jack Hughes and Timo Meier are exactly like what you're saying. They always seem to wind up in the same spot on the ice, and they make it easy to be covered because you're so close. They like one guy could cover both of them. And I've seen Hughes come back to the bench and like slam the door in aggravation that he doesn't have that free space on the ice because he always winds up being right next to Meier.
You got to have guys that can be, different roles on the line.
Yeah.
It's just a frustrating thing to watch. And, you see it now too, with those two of them. Maybe they figure it out, or maybe they just split them up and say, these two can't really play together.
Just don't put them on. Yeah. Just don't put them on the line together. Yeah.
It just doesn't work, and that's, to me, that became the problem with the Isles over time is like, there's certain guys just like Eberle and Barzal, they're both good players, but together they
didn't feed off each other.
They did, but they do too much of the same thing. And it just doesn't give them enough opportunities to take the puck away and, make rushes and, get the puck out of the dirty areas. Like, it's just like they have too much of the same things they do. And then it becomes hard to mix those lines up because then you're like, well, you can't drop Barzy to the second line. He's your first line center. And then, Eberle, is he really a guy that's going to drop down to the second and third lines? And then it's very difficult to kind of move things around. So I feel like you really need a more balanced lineup of guys. There's guys of speed, size, some, maybe one or two guys that are like a pivot, they don't all have to be fast, but it's hard to have that balance when you're just the cap and all the things. So, it's be interesting to watch, see what they do. A lot of talk about Dubas maybe being available. Obviously, if Toronto gets swept here, it seems like he'll be gone. I can't imagine Toronto brings him back. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know what happens because I think my biggest worry, the worst case scenario for me is that Lou retires and hands it over to Chris Lamoriello, and they go, Chris is going to run it now, and I'd be like, fuck, we're
Same old shit.
Just
I
like his
hope it's-
father.
He's the lesser version, obviously. I mean, he's clearly not the same guy, and Lou is not the same guy he was 20 years ago. So it's just more the same. So hopefully,
But I wouldn't expect to
out.
hear anything for if this is a normal offseason. I wouldn't expect to hear
Yeah,
anything from
it's
Lou
gonna be a while.
Lamoriello until training camp.
he's going to his hibernation.
It's
No.
basically it.
I get the feeling we're not gonna hear anything for a while to see what happens and shakes out with other teams, because there's probably a few dominoes I got to follow to see what's available. You've already shot killed the whole thing with Trotz, which still gonna be the thing that's gonna haunt the Isles, I think, for a while. But yeah, we'll see who's available, see what happens if they decide to make a move, or if they just finally come out and say, it is what it is, and it was a tough season, but turn it around.
Anytime I think of Lou and Chris Lamoriello, I just think of Smokey and the Bandit. Like Lou is Buford T. Justice and Chris is Junior.
Well, hey, look, if you need a coach, I think Gerard Gallant's available. Good luck, bro.
As a matter of fact,
That's it.
Tom will trade you Gerard Gallant's contract for Matt Barzell.
Yeah, can we trade for NHL coaches? Can we
Just
send
trade
a player?
coaches. We'll send you
I
labor.
know.
It's
guys-
happened.
Yeah.
I want to. We'll send the Penguins somebody for Mike Sullivan.
Sure.
I think that would be.
No, there's nobody on your team that I want.
Do you
that
guys have anyone named Jeff?
Sadly, no. Sadly, no.
And now it's time for trivia with Bill. Yuck.
Now this is the wrong bell.
much. That-
That was weird.
you're not very decisive there today, Steve.
That was weird.
Didn't get the full cue, so that's what we're going with.
Well,
Oh.
I gave you.
Yeah, I don't. It
I
wasn't.
gave you the head
that,
nod.
it wasn't that clear. Maybe it's that terrible fucking wallpaper behind you that's throwing me off.
It's
It's
pretty
it's
bad.
pretty-
fantastic wallpaper
is.
behind me.
Oh.
Marriott hotels, they have the best
It
wallpaper.
looks like vertical cum spots just shot straight up the
Oh no, that's
Are
what it
we-
is. No, that's what that is. Duh.
Are we already on Steve's stomach? Wait a minute, I missed the segment. Okay, so my trivia question today, I gotta say, I have to do all the multiple choice because otherwise
No.
the question stays open ended.
No.
No.
And there's way too many possibilities, and you guys are gonna be right.
Well, wait, hold
but
on.
I'm not gonna be able to, but you're not gonna give the right answer that they're looking for, and then you're gonna get mad at me.
Well, why don't you
So,
just ask the
that's
question?
stress.
Why don't you
Come
just ask the question first?
Let's figure that out. Come on.
Okay. Remember the question. The Stanley Cup has been used as a blank.
Toilet.
True.
That's one of the correct answers.
A cereal bowl.
That's two of the correct answers.
A champagne
They were
flute.
really looking for three correct answers.
A beer cup mug.
Yeah, mug. Yeah, I
Giant.
think a mug would be
and see,
right.
that's the thing, because it certainly has been, but they're looking for one specific other answer.
Wait, are you serious that with the cereal bowl and the
Yeah.
other thing that Steve was saying?
The
Are
toilet,
you saying
yes.
that those are
But you
really?
can't say toilet. You can't
Yes.
say the word toilet. Is that
The potty.
and that thing
keeping the
Steve said?
potty.
Wow. Seriously?
Yes.
You actually got those right?
You got yes. Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Can I say a pool toy?
You can.
You can.
You'll be
And
wrong.
it has been, but again, not the answer they're looking for. They got because let's break the fourth wall here. They wanted you to go to the answer all of the above, which was the compilation of the prior three. One of them being cereal bowl, one of them being toilet, and then this other thing.
First mate on the SS Titanic.
Good one.
I don't think that's even a right answer.
And then Jack and Rose
Anyway.
dove down there and they discovered it.
Well, Jack actually did.
Oh, Jack. Oh,
Rose wouldn't get
plenty
off
of
the
room on
the
that fucking door, man. She fucking didn't
fucking
want you to live,
bitch.
dude.
That old bitch threw it off the fucking side of the boat. The
Yeah.
Stanley Cup. Everyone was looking for the
Bazillion.
Stanley Cup. She whips it out of her pocket and throws it off the boat.
What's it?
It was a dog bowl.
No,
I mean, it was.
Hello.
probably.
I'm sure it
but
was.
No,
I don't know. A seat.
no,
A hat.
no.
A hat? You gonna wear it upside down?
A flying.
You're gonna wear- it's
Tom.
a giant hat.
Tom, it's the Stanley Cup. What can you make of this?
You can make a hat or a brooch. My goodness gracious. How about a cup?
Like a
Um,
protective cup?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Jesus,
A
that's
g-
some
It's a goalie cup. Yeah, some goalies just.
cover.
Well,
No,
Garth
no,
Snow
it
used to
wasn't
wear
that.
it when he was in the Nets.
It was one of
The,
the smaller pieces of equipment.
The third thing they use the Stanley Cup for as the trophy awarded to the team that wins the Stanley Cup.
Well, that's true, but that's not what the, again, not the answer they're looking for here.
I feel like it should have been.
Is it D, all the above?
Well, we need to
D,
get
all of the above is
we
correct.
need to get C so we can get D.
Oh, you want the D, don't you?
I like the sound of that.
Has it been used in any sexual encounters?
Oh, I'm sure on Sex on the Beach, I'm
We
sure.
are not. This is
In
not
Florida.
the Steve Stomach segment. No, we're still in the trivia segment.
Did they light it
doesn't
on
happen.
fire first and then
No.
has it been used as a TikTok propaganda piece?
Sure it has, but no.
And I don't think
no.
yet.
Yeah, I
course
mean
it
it's only
has.
been around for a couple years. What has the Stanley Cup been used for?
Yeah.
Used for.
It's been used to catch a baby as it comes out of the mom.
Oh,
Oh,
damn it, you were kind of close.
I was
You were close, but no, nothing
was-
that gross.
Okay,
But
well then we're not going anywhere
Well,
near that
you had a
again.
good tie in with
Um,
the baby thing.
Has it been used as a way to pick up women by those
Oh,
who
hell
have
yeah.
won it?
Oh my god. I
Sure.
mean, why else would you win it?
That's true.
Jesus.
Has it been used as a baby bassinet?
Oh, no, that's not the answer they're looking for either. But
How about
the
how
baby
about a
thing's very
baby?
close.
How about a baby car seat?
No, that
Has
would
it
be
been used
very
to,
dangerous. Highly dangerous.
Deliver a baby?
That was what Tom had
I
said.
said that. You're
When you-
you're gonna laugh when you
You're
listen
gonna
to
laugh
that.
when you go back and
Oh
listen.
my god.
Did you just say it?
You are gonna laugh. That was the first thing I said. The thing about the baby.
That's where we got to the baby thing.
Right.
I'm going to go a little off book here, and I'm not going to say the actual word, but has it been used in the performance of an A word?
What's an A word?
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Shmush.
Yeah. Oh,
what?
Jesus.
No, is that?
A shmushmortion?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Have they? No.
Whoa.
I still don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Well,
Wow. Yeah, little
That-
baby
that's-
ears can't hear the word.
that's a no.
Okay.
No. Has it been used to microwave popcorn?
Oh, you can't put metal in the
How
microwave.
big?
Oh
How
my
big of a
God.
microwave do you need to do that?
You can't put and metal.
Thing's
in the microwave,
36
you
inches
can't do
tall.
it.
Quite large.
Sparks and burning things. Oh my God. Tragedy.
I have a metal rack in my microwave. It's fine.
Well, when they design it to actually go in
Yeah,
a microwave,
no, it's-
you're okay.
I'm sure they did back in the day. They designed it specifically to work in a microwave.
Silver, not so sure.
Was it used to store things like throw pucks in or something, or throw fucking jerseys? I don't know.
Not the no.
Was it used to
That's
store
kind of it.
babies in with?
Gross. No.
Was it used to store baby batter?
Gross.
Probably was. It probably was. Let's face it.
I would
Um,
imagine it definitely was.
That
What
was in
else
the
do
middle
you-
of some kind of
Was it
circle.
used to change a baby's diaper?
I'm sure it was, but no. It is a
feel like-
specific baby.
I feel like
thing
we've
that-
gone through all the things babies do. They eat, they sleep, and they
Right.
shit.
Yep.
We've
Why
said
are
all
All of
three.
those.
Fixated on the freaking babies. Is this
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta
baby
think
thing?
about.
Was
yeah,
it
it's
used to
a-
bathe the baby?
And you just got to tweak that answer a little. Why would you be washing water in a baby and whatever?
Oh, Jesus Christ! Really?
Jesus Christ, really? That's correct.
Oh,
Baptismal
baptizing.
fonts.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yes.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
That was
Oh,
not worth it.
mother of God.
Bill, I want to give our official answer: D. All of the
All
above.
of the above. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
You guys, you got the first two, like in your first two guesses. That was amazing.
Yeah. Then
Do
we
you
fell
guys-
right off the fucking.
Cereal bowl.
Do you guys want to guess players for a top 10 list?
What?
It's a fun one.
If it's fun, then of course.
Oh, of course, they're all fun.
Go ahead.
Give me
Wayne Gretzky. I
the
love being on
top
this side
10
of things.
active NHL playoff games leaders. Top 10
Eddie Shore.
active, Bill.
Boy.
Bill, active.
Brent Burns.
Billy Smith.
Brent Burns is not in the top 10.
Wow. Joe Pavelski.
Joe Pavelski is number 5.
Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby is number 3.
Alex
Oh,
Ovechkin.
Alex Ovechkin is not in the top 10.
Wow.
Well, if Sidney
Gino.
Crosby's in it, I'm going to venture to say that Chris Letang is also.
Chris Letang is number 11. Sorry. No, not in the top 10.
Malkin.
Malkin is number 4.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Is number
Yeah,
7.
Steve said. Yeah, good one.
There you go. Patrick Kane.
Patrick Kane is not in the top 10.
Really?
Joe Thornton.
Really? Joe Thornton is not in the top 10.
What?
And he's not active.
Yeah, he is.
Not
Is he?
active. They're
I
retired.
don't know.
Thought he just played.
No.
Oh, he did play. He did play.
You have
He did
you've
play,
gotten 4.
yeah. Oof.
Andrei
Vasilevsky.
Vasilevsky.
Andrei Vasilevsky is
If
not
Fleury is
in
7,
the
he
top
can't
10.
be. Huh?
Not in
Well,
the top 10.
Steven Stamkos. He's got to be.
Steven Stamkos is not in the top 10.
It's fucking possible. What the fuck?
He missed that whole fucking year. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Hedman. Victor Hedman.
Victor Hedman is number 9. You have 5.
There we go.
Kucherov.
Nikita Kucherov is number 16.
Yeah, he's not gonna get there. Kopitar.
Andre Kopitar,
Fonzie.
not top 10.
Wow.
All right.
Let's to Craig. Chris Kunitz. He's not still active, is he? Is he still active?
He
somewhere?
is not active. Bill.
He's yeah. Maybe sexually active, but not.
Pat
Oh, yeah.
Maroon.
Pat Maroon is number 10. You have 6.
Wow. Okay.
Pat Maroon
We-
just eked
How would we not
out
have
Chris
number
Letang, by the
1?
way, for number 10.
Oh, Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel is not in the top 10.
John Tavares.
John Tavares is not in the top 10.
Definitely not. No Islander.
Jake Gensel.
Gensel is not in the top 10.
All right. So number 1 on the list, is he Eastern Conference or Western Conference?
He has played both in his career.
Somebody has been a long, long time,
Yep.
and we're missing it. We're missing it.
Yep.
Because
You're
we're
missing,
idiots.
you're missing a pretty easy one.
Yeah, it should be fucking simple.
Actually, 2 guys on this list should have been, well, actually 3 guys on this list should be pretty easy.
Jeff Carter.
No, nobody named Jeff, Bill. What's your obsession with guys named Jeff?
Marlowe.
Patrick
Marlowe?
Marlowe, not in the top 10.
He's not. Is he not active? Right? Isn't he retired?
No, he's
Yes,
playing.
he did retire.
Yeah.
Oh, he just went back to San Jose, I thought.
Name.
No, they retired.
Oh.
Retired his jersey. Who was he?
Oh,
Michael
maybe that's why
Jordan.
he was there.
Yes, exactly. That's why he went back.
Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand, number 14.
Jesus.
Huh.
Shane Gostisbehere.
Shut up.
Patrice Bergeron.
Patrice Bergeron is number 6.
Hey.
Found one.
So let me tell you which numbers you need.
1, 2, and
You-
8.
You need 1, 2, and 8.
Okay.
You're missing the top two.
You're missing the top 2.
Very
Eastern
common.
Conference and Western Conference.
Well, no, I didn't say that. Steve asked me number 1. And I said number 1 has played in both the Eastern and Western Conference.
Yes, that's what
I thought you said 1 and 2 and 1 apiece. Sorry. Number 2 on the list missed the playoffs this year. Number 1 did not.
Patrick Kane. Did we say Patrick Kane? We
Yeah.
did, right?
It's
Yeah,
okay, it's okay.
You did.
Who's that defenseman for the Ranger that went from the Rangers to the Lightning that ended up in like
Oh, Ryan
Nashville or some
McDonough.
shit?
Ryan
That guy.
McDonough is number 2.
Ah, there we go.
Really?
Yeah. Teamwork.
Oh,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
In fact, this
feel
is the
like-
first year he has missed the playoffs in his career.
I feel like
And what about Eric? Is Eric Stahl still around, right?
Eric
Scott.
Stahl is around and he's not in the
let's-
top 10.
Oh,
Shit, he's not in the top 20.
Jordan Stahl?
Jordan Stahl is number 23.
Jay Weber.
No, he is active. I'll give you that.
Uh,
So, missing number 1 and number 8.
Ryan O'Reilly?
No. All right.
Is number one gonna
1
be-
and
is number one
number
a
8
future Hall
are
of Famer?
both in the Eastern Conference this
Currently.
year. This
Currently.
year. And they are no longer playing. Both of them.
Yeah, I'm at a loss.
Both.
You said Ovechkin's was a no, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah,
Both
so no.
both were playing for Atlantic Division teams. Number 1, number 8. Not the
Katy
same team.
Perry.
Corey Perry is number 1.
Oh, Corey Perry.
Jesus.
I mean, number 8 now?
Yep.
And he was playing on an Atlantic Division team that's no longer playing.
That is correct.
Who did Boston pick up this year?
Don't think that.
Who doesn't play for Boston?
No. I didn't say that.
Do you know Chara's still in the league?
Yeah, Charles
Negative.
not in the league.
Definitely
Oh.
not.
No.
David Krejci.
David Krejci is number 8.
That's a tricky one because he wasn't in the league last year.
It's an interesting list, isn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think McDonough had that many, but damn man, he did.
This is the first year he missed the playoffs since
That's
Tom's a
amazing.
liar. He said that was gonna be fun.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
Yeah,
that was wait, excuse me. That was so much fun for me to watch all you guys squirm. Are you kidding me?
That just leads us to our next segment, which is impressions with Nick.
Fucking great. Ladies and gentlemen, the Friends and Rivals podcast. We're ready for the fastest 2 minutes of this Type 45 show. It's the 20 questions power play. Rules are simple. The group has 2 minutes to guess a famous player, coach, front office, or any famous player person associated with one of the 4 Friends and Rivals favorite teams. The group can ask up to 20 questions in rapid fire. Answers will only come in the form of yes or no. The group will have to make a final guess once they've hit 20 questions or the power play has expired. If the group is successful, they win for the week and avoid shame for unable to win at a children's game. And away we go.
This player, New York Rangers.
No.
This player associated with the New Jersey Devils.
Yes.
This player associated with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
No.
This player associated with the New York Islanders.
Yes.
Islander Devils. Is it Andy Green?
No.
Did this
Zach
player
Parise.
play in the 2000s?
No. Did Billy? Yes.
What did Billy say?
Steve.
Zach Parise.
So 2000s Islanders Devils. Did they play in the 90s at all?
No.
Jan Hrdina.
No.
Fuck, whose birthday is it today?
Is this player currently playing?
No.
Did this player play forward?
Yes.
Did this player play center?
Yes.
Did this player spend more of their career with the Devils?
Yes.
Did this player play on the Devils first?
Yes.
Is it Travis Zajac?
Hey, you got it.
Oh, Steve.
That
That was a
all
Steve
you.
going end to end.
In
That
less
was-
than
that
a
was an
minute.
end-to-end rush.
In
That was
less
an
than a
end-to-end
minute.
rush.
Brings our total up
You
to
did-
14 for 24.
You
Nick,
did.
Nick, why did you pick Travis Zajac?
He's born May 13th.
Wheel
It's close enough.
of
Born May
Fortune.
13th. It's only 5 days away, so he picked him.
Yeah.
Good job.
I did. I was tired. I'm sorry.
That sounds about right.
Also, I figured the only person getting this would be Steve.
Yeah.
Well, you were
so-
1,000% right on that.
That was
It's tricky because Zajac only played for small port, like 20 games
Oh,
for Dallas.
yeah.
So it was playoff pickup.
All right, let's go to this date in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Round here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This one's going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2019. Go to what day is this? Posted is fine. May 28th of 2019. Was that Memorial Day weekend?
May 28th was a Tuesday,
I guess not.
the day after Memorial Day.
Okay.
Close enough.
Breakfast
this,
was
actually this happened 6:30 p.m. on Sunday.
So, well,
The,
you
the
tell
article,
me this is
the
your
article,
fucking-
the article date is the 28th, so I guess we got to go to the 28th.
we got to go with the 28th then.
Yeah,
so,
we got to go 28th.
Belvita and Coke Zero can for breakfast. Roast beef and cheese. Half sub, Coke Zero 20 ounce, and a bag of chips for lunch. Dinner was at the Dublin House in Red Bank, where I had a chicken cordon bleu sandwich, fries, and a diet soda. We were in Red Bank to enjoy Rob Thomas at the Count Basie Theater. Thomas, why did you pick Tuesday, May 28th, 2019?
Well, duh. Obviously, that was the day at a pair of Collier County residents, not named Ray Finkel, were arrested Sunday evening after an officer found them performing a sex act on the beach and didn't stop when the officer arrived. Excuse me, you want to get off? Sir, please, 1 second, please. Could you give me just 1 second, please, officer? It happened around 6:30 p.m. Sunday on the beach in the 700 block of South Collier Drive in Marco Island.
Notoriously, that is the most shenanigans happen the 700 block.
Yes. Unfortunately, this was not cum or cremation.
No,
This was, according to Marco Island police report, a caller.
Don't fucking
reported-
no. Don't fucking laugh at it this week.
It's
You
the
didn't
greatest-
fucking
when
laugh at
Tom
it last
says it.
week when I came up with it on the spot. You don't laugh at it this week when he
No.
fucking says it.
Oh, stop yourself.
It is much funnier when I say it. A caller reported that Jesus. According to Marco Island police report, a caller reported the couple to the police, and the responding officer found two people lying down in front of the beach access. The couple were arrested and charged with exposure of sexual organs.
Tom's a creep. Tom is a weirdo. Where does he come up with the shit? It's so disgusting.
So this guy, this woman calls it in. How long does it take for a police officer to show up on the scene? You got to think it's got to take like 10, 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, are they calling 911 or are they
So-
calling the non-emergency?
So it would
police
make
lines?
sense that he was right about peak when the officer got there.
How long did you say it took them? Please,
10, 15 minutes.
I mean, sure.
Tom, you got to think these are people in the 700 block. That's, they're experienced with
Yeah, but
outdoor
it-
sex.
Again, it's Collier County. I don't know. I tend to think of someone like Ray Finkel. Sorry.
Also, you're saying Marco Island. Isn't Marco Island like a hoity-toity area?
It is a hoity-toity area. We don't discriminate here in Florida.
Wow.
We will go to any beach
Even
and get
your
naked.
rich folk get it on outside.
That's right. Just going out there, these do not look like rich folk. by
Oh,
the
no,
way.
no.
No.
They traveled
No,
in.
that's
They're-
absolutely not.
They traveled in from the Everglades
Yeah,
to do that.
they're the locals.
So I got a weird question. Toronto, brink of elimination. They blow it up. They trade one of those four.
I mean, of the
I-
what? But 60% of their entire salary cap is on 4 players.
They've been begging
Yeah.
for that for years. Yeah.
So,
I mean, they
but
should
who?
have done that already.
Who?
Who is it? I don't know.
Probably Mitch.
I was maybe yeah.
Because I was
Matthews is
hearing,
not gonna
why
trade.
not trade Matthews to Arizona?
I mean, I think you can. I don't know
Does
if they will.
Does he have a no movement clause or no trade clause?
I don't
at all?
know.
Because
Good question.
that would be a veto.
Yeah, does he
No,
want to
right,
go
to
home?
go
Or
home?
does he,
He's
gonna,
from Arizona.
does he want to go home or he's going to pull a
No,
Goudreau
listen,
though?
I get that, but still, you're going to you're coming from Toronto, where you were on top of the world with a team, and you're gonna go to fucking Arizona and just
He
die.
wants to play closer to home, so he's going to sign with the Ottawa Senators.
So,
That's a good draw.
here's- so Austin's got one more year, and by the way, their entire team is like all UFAs.
Yeah.
all their forwards.
God.
Except
Oh my God. Yeah.
every single forward is a UFA except for Matthew Knees. And but basically they're losing Kerfoot, Ryan O'Reilly, David Kemp, all these guys this year.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Bunting,
of guys.
Simmons, Aston
Right.
Reese.
All coming off the books. Now you have Matthews with one more year next year. Tavares has 2 more years. Marner has 2 more years. William Nylander. He's got Nylander. 1 more year. So I mean,
Basically
Those are the
$40 million
guys.
tied up in those 4 guys.
yeah, that's it. And I mean, you can of course trade. I think the Matthews trade makes sense if you're like, you send him somewhere, but he's probably not. He's just gonna go make a ton of money at the end of this. He's just gonna be a UFA, sign wherever he wants. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but you gotta get some capital if he's not coming back. If they're not gonna re-sign him.
No movement clause at all.
Yeah, no.
On
What
him,
is,
Marner,
what is his contract?
Him, Marner, or Nylander. 11,
Yeah.
6, 450,
And he's
640.
got- and he's got 1 year left on it after this.
So, yes.
Yeah. So here's the important thing, right?
He
They
picked the right
have-
year to be UFA. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
When the
They
cap
have
is
a-
going up.
They have the first rounder for Boston this year, which obviously is not very high.
No.
And
Might as
then
well be a
next year they
second.
have, but they don't have a second, they don't have a third, they don't have a fourth.
Fourth.
Then they have just next year they have their 2024 first. They don't have a second. They have the Islanders third from the deal with. I think that could change. It could go up or something for Engvall. They don't have a first in 2025. Don't have a second in 2025. So I mean, they
Yeah.
have
I think they could
a
get,
lot missing.
I think they could
need-
get a first and a second for 2024 and 2025 from somebody for like,
They need it. Yeah, they need to
Right.
blow up parts of this, or they have to re-sign 2 of these guys long term. And if you're going to do that, you have to be Marner and Matthews. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
How old is Matthews?
25.
25. Yeah, he'll be getting those crazy poison pill deals where he's going to be, he's turning 27 and getting like a
8-year
14
deal.
million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
And
is
it's gonna be
like that
terrible.
Ditka move for Ricky Williams.
Yeah. This
Take
is,
my entire draft this
Ugh.
year for him.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens after Toronto gets swept, because if they fire the front office, then
I think it's got to be Marner or Nylander. I think Matthews is just the guy you got to keep and build. He's got to be your main focal point.
I
I think
agree.
it depends. depends what happens, right? Maybe Arizona with all that draft capital goes, hey, they're saving it up for Matthews. Do
Yeah.
you take it?
With the risk of him leaving, you gotta then be able to communicate with his camp to say, are you gonna re-sign here?
He'll resign. He'll
Yeah.
resign. He
And
resigned.
play in front of 5,000 people per night.
Hey man, they're gonna new arena at some point, or they're gonna be playing in
In what,
parking lot.
2027? They're going to get a new fucking arena?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's you're making him play in obscurity for the prime of his career. You want
He
him
may
to go
not
to
care.
Arizona.
He may not.
He's
wanna
only
play
making it to the second round of the playoffs in Toronto, so who gives? That's basically obscurity.
and he gets crushed by the media there. I mean, he can only stay there for so long. So
I don't know. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch.
it will be.
Well, would you say the same thing about Connor McDavid? Is he wasting away in Edmonton? Should
No.
he be traded?
I mean, you could, but why? He's easily the MVP for this year, and I don't see anybody coming close unless he gets injured. He had he's 20, 30 points ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, but
Next guy's on his
Edmonton's
team.
not winning with him and Draisaitl. It's just not working.
But don't you think that that's something where now they're Draisaitl 2 more years, McDavid 3 more years, Hyman and Nugent Hopkins actually both have very long deals, but they're pretty manageable. They're like 5.5 and 5.125 each.
Those are fine. Yeah.
If they could just invest some money on defense.
Yeah. I mean, they got Kane.
Stupid Jack Campbell.
They signed Kane for 4 years. I mean, he's good, but I mean, it's another $5 million you've wrapped up. Darnell Nurse is I don't know. I don't think he's not worth $9 million.
Not $9 million, no.
How is Darnell Nurse worth $5 million or $9 million?
Also, if we're going to start talking defensemen, Dougie got fucking robbed. All due respect to Cale Makar and to a certain extent, Adam Fox.
You say that, but Adam Fox deserves to be there.
They had basically the same exact numbers. So if Adam Fox deserves to be there, so does Dougie.
I don't think Cale Makar deserves to be there. Honestly, I don't.
Fucking robbed.
Recency bias from last year. I don't know.
That's what that trophy winds up being, and that's what the Selke winds up being. Just once you get that rep now that Bergeron's moving on, Hughes is going to move right into that spot, and he's going to just start winning it year after year.
You mean
He's sure.
He's sure. Yep.
He might not win it this year, but this is his first year nominated, and now he'll get nominated again next year and maybe win it next year.
The Frank J. Selke or the Patrice Bergeron trophy.
Yeah. More commonly referred to as the John Madden trophy.
all three of those Jack Adams finalists from last year are no longer employed. That was the funniest picture I saw this week.
That award went to hell when they gave it to John Tortorella. It has no meaning anymore.
Lost all its value.
Yeah, it's may as well be a toilet paper holder now.
It just shows you how fast things can change in the coaching world. Jesus Christ, Edmonton's getting fucking doors
steamrolled.
Well,
they did just take that 5th one off the.
They just got it back.
So
it's 5-1 now.
Oh really?
Yeah.
How am I the one that's so far behind?
I'm so far ahead now.
Shit.
I'm in New Jersey, so I'm so far ahead.
Holy
shit. The Marriott's got the best TVs.
Oh, that was a good goal.
I'm still looking at replays.
Oh, that's a shame.
That was terrible.
It was, wow. What a tip in.
Great tip in.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Absolutely.
The pass was sensational.
But the effort by the Edmonton player there was horrendous.
It was a lackluster.
Oh, what a goal. Oh, what a goal.
Oh, Billy, you finally got there.
That was me.
I was watching Yankees highlights.
Did they win?
They won.
Wow.
They played the A's.
Yeah, no. And it looks like the Knicks probably lost.
Yes, they did.
Good Lord. Figures.
Right when you get on the bandwagon.
Figures. I'm off. That's it. I'm jumping off.
Oh, maybe they're going to come back from a 3-1 deficit now.
Yeah, right. That doesn't happen in basketball.
No. Well, the Denver Nuggets did it. No?
You could fact check me on that. I have no idea for real.
Sure.
Wow, you just sent it totally cross. Wow.
Wow was right. All right, that's gonna do it for us. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at friends_rivals, Friends and Rivals Podcast, YouTube, Facebook. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read them on the air. While you're there, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals Podcast. Billy, say something witty.
I decided next time I go to Florida, Marco Island is the spot I'm going to go, man. They be fucking on the streets out there. Now, Polo Island, they're just sitting there in the water waiting to get tagged. I don't get it. I'm going Marco Island.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm on a losing streak.